Good morning and welcome to Healing Waters. It is your girl, Marie Kennedy Groves, as your broadcast host today. And we are so happy that you have decided to join us again for another broadcast. We have a really exciting chitchat that is coming up for you today that I am so excited to share with you. It's my beautiful, amazing friend. You're going to get real tired of me introducing my beautiful, amazing friends because I have an insane circle at this point in my life. I haven't always been able to say that. But today, very intentionally, I have a very awesome circle. And so today I have with me Cassie Durant, who has been a friend of mine, I believe, and Kathy, you can correct me if I am wrong, but I think we've been friends now for what, 13 years?
Yeah,
something
just
like
about that. Yep.
Yeah. Kathy is a retired cosmetologist and a cosmetology teacher. I can't get that word out today. She's the director of Lift Women's Ministry, and she has been involved in that for over, 7 years now, Kathy, I believe. And you are presently the office manager / partner in her and her husband's business it's a tool business, which is quite amazing. And she is in the process of becoming a published author. And can I just tell you that she let me preview her book, and it is powerful. Oh my gosh. I literally could not stop reading that thing. It was amazing. So I cannot wait for it to be published, and we will announce it on here, Kathy, as soon as it goes live. Please let me know, and we will do another broadcast and share it with people of how they can get a hold of that book because it is a powerful book. She has been married to her second husband now for 32 years. She is the mother of 3 and the grandmother of 7. She loves Jesus. She's an encourager. She's a leader. She is just a dynamic woman, but most of all, she is my friend and my accountability partner. Cassie, welcome.
Thank you. And you are my accountability partner too. It goes both ways.
I absolutely love the journey that we have chosen to take together. And our journey has had a lot of twists and turns. Is that a good way to put it?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's highly accurate.
That's highly accurate. We have supported each other through some crazy life stuff. Crazy. And I always like to share a personal story about my chit-chat partner for the day. And so the personal story that I would like to share about you and I is the very first time, let's see, I think we met at a women's event, if I remember correctly, for the first time.
Yes.
And we decided to go out for coffee. And
Yes.
we met up for coffee. And when I tell you, I think it was McDonald's that we went to, or it was some fast food restaurant that we went to get coffee. And when I tell you that Cassie's sitting there and we're getting to know each other and she's telling me her story, and I literally sat across the table from her with my mouth open, like her backdrop story. It's like watching a Lifetime movie. I mean, it's insane. And I know I probably sat there with my mouth open, and I remember we shut down the McDonald's.
Oh,
and
yeah,
when
we did.
When we looked at our watches, like I think we had sat there for like 3 hours, and it maybe felt like 30 minutes.
Yeah, we were there for 3 hours, went out in the parking lot, talked for another hour, after they had closed. So it was a total of 4 hours.
So excited. I just am so excited to share my friend circle with our listening audience because, I mean, Kathy, you are dynamic. You have been through so much stuff in your life, and you are such an overcomer. And one of the things that you and I have talked a lot about is I have been married twice. You have been married twice. The second time, you've now been married for 32 years. And
Yes,
you were very, very instrumental helping me through my last divorce, which was, I don't know, 9, 10 years ago. I kind of lose track at this point. Because I had been married for 18 years. And you were one of those friends that just, I mean, like you locked arms with me and we walked this journey together. And I think you obviously you saw the good, bad, and the ugly. You have been one of those friends in my life that has spoken truth into me, whether I wanted to hear it or not.
same
And
for you.
sometimes it didn't feel real good.
Same for you.
Sometimes it didn't feel. Well, I think we have that relationship, and I love that about us because we do call each other out. And sometimes it doesn't feel real good, but we seem to be able to take it from each other.
Yes, I think it's because of the delivery. I think it's delivery with love. Like, you know how much I love you, and I know how much you love me. And I know that what you're saying to me is for my best. It's not to hurt me, even if I don't like it.
Right. Right. No, and I agree. And I feel the same way about you. One thing, as we talk today about divorce, I think a big looming question that so many women have said to me, and I know you have heard the same thing, is how do you know when it's time to just say, no, we're done. It's over. I'm not doing this anymore.
Well, I
And
think
I would love to know what your like how you answer the women that ask you those questions.
well, I think that many people think that you just wake up one morning and it's like, okay, I'm done. But the truth is that when you take on your wedding day, when you're taking those vows, your intention is that you are crazy in love with this person. They are like God to you. And that you would walk through fire and hell for them. And your intention is to go the distance. Your intention is never to quit. And so I think that with that, and I'm going to speak personally because that's the only way I can speak. For me, I had signals, warning signs that I should have never gotten married to this person in the first place. But I ignored those signs because my alternative choice was to stay in my mother's house. And coming from an abused child situation, I felt as though it was not perfect, but it was better than, which was not true. So we're 17 years into our relationship, 14 years married. And during that time, we had been separated at least 3-4 times. We'd been in marriage counseling at least twice. I had been in personal counseling considerably a large amount of time during the process of the marriage. And I had a very wise woman say to me about 8 years into the 14-year marriage, you're going to wake up one day and you're going to realize that as you're brushing your teeth, you're not going to take it anymore. You're done. She said, and I can't tell you whether that's going to be today, tomorrow, next week, next year. She said, but you will come to that day. It was during a time when my marriage was really rough and I had been confiding in her. She was like a second mom. True to her words, I was walking around our home and I really felt in my heart that the reason why we struggled so badly in our marriage was finances. Like that was the root of evil. So when we made it, and I mean made it, I was driving a Lincoln Town car. We had 2 homes. We had a cabin cruiser yacht on a lake that would fix everything. And I walked around this 4-bedroom, 3-bath house on an acre lot with a pool in the backyard. And I thought to myself at 33 years old, next year at 34, I will be with him as many years in my life as I have been without him. And if this is the way the rest of my life is going to go, I'm so lonely. I just want to die. And I had 3 beautiful kids. My daughter was the youngest, and she was just a baby. But I had been treated for STDs that I had not gone out of our marriage for. I had been physically abused. I had been mentally abused. There was just numerous things. And I think that because I made an inner vow to myself that I had come from a divorced home, and there was no way my kids were going to go through a divorce, that I hung in there because I was going to make it work. No matter what, I was going to make it work. But after 17 years, I just did get up one morning and brush my teeth and look in the mirror and say, I can't go on like this anymore. I believe in my case that every infraction, every event that showed his lack of commitment to our marriage killed whatever love I had for him over time. It wasn't something that happened, oh, I just woke up one morning, I don't love you anymore. Oh no, it killed it one event at a time. And so my decision to divorce did not come easy. I struggled with it tremendously because that's not the life I wanted for my kids. And I think that the struggle working up to the decision is almost too much for a woman to have to function on a day-to-day basis, putting one foot in front of the other, taking care of your house, taking care of your children, taking care of the husband that you no longer feel like fighting for, and still hovering in the back of your mind thinking, what if I stay? What if it's only one more day before the turnaround? What if I quit too soon? You know, and I'm here to tell you that after 34 years of being divorced and watching my ex's behaviors, nothing would have changed. I would have either died or I would have been extremely lonely, miserable old lady, because I'm not young anymore. And the future wasn't bright. You know, that song, oh, you know, I'm going to put on shades, the future is bright. Yeah, it wasn't bright. And the divorce wasn't easy on anybody. It was horrific. And I'm sorry I had to do that. But I think my biggest motivation, I guess, to decide it was that finally I saw in the Bible that God did allow divorce for infidelity and that he would not condemn me for it. And that was what finally kind of clinched my decision. And we've talked, and I think that your situation was extremely similar to mine.
Yes. So, oh my gosh, there's so much in this, and there's so much I want to pick apart in what you said, and kind of go deeper. We're going to need to take a commercial break real quick, but when we come back, I really want to talk about people's personal mindsets in space when making a big decision like this. And then I also want to talk about the idealistic or the ideas, let me put it that way, that we have around staying married for the kids. Because there's just a lot in all of that. And oh my gosh, there's just so much to say. So we are going to take a quick commercial break. what I am going to tell you all, if you have not subscribed to the Healing Waters broadcast, please hit the little subscribe button down below. We broadcast here every Monday at 12 noon Eastern Standard Time. So we pop in to have lunch with you, give you hope, encouragement, and all that good stuff, and a lot of laughs. We will also add that as well. And if you have not, also go to WYTV7, either on Facebook or YouTube, and hit the donate button. Any amount of money is appreciated because it helps keep broadcasts such as this on the air to encourage people and let people know that there is hope in the world that we are living in. So we will be right back after this commercial break. Stay tuned.
80% of women will develop a pelvic health condition at some point in their lives. There is relief. There is hope. The Pelvic Floor Store, your resource for personal health.
We are back with Healing Waters Chick Chat. And we have our beautiful friend, Cassie Durant, with us today. And I am your host, Marie Kennedy Groves. And we have been talking about divorce. And I know that there is so many trails that we can go down and talk about when it comes to divorce. And so go back and watch the first segment if you are just tuning in now, because you will catch up on what we were talking about. But Kathy, before the commercial break, we were talking about just kind of the decision-making process of when do you know that it's time to say, okay, enough is enough. And I thought that I know you were telling your personal story, and what I want to say here is that everybody's journey is different. There is no two journeys alike. And so for me to say, it's time for you to divorce I don't think any of us have the rights to say that. Although I do feel like it is very, very important that if there is physical abuse going on, if there is, infidelity going on, if there is very unhealthy behavior going on, that it is definitely a time that we have got to draw a line in the sand. Because I know when prior to me going through my divorce, I was going to a counselor, like we have talked about, and one of the things that she told me was, and this was very hard to hear, she said, you are as much at fault with allowing the crazy behavior as he is acting the fool. Because by you allowing it, you are, codependent is not the word, but you are, what's the word I'm looking for, Kathy?
Enabling.
Enabling, that's the word I'm looking for. You are enabling him to continue to treat you and the kids in this manner. But one of the things that she said, you're going to have to draw a line in the sand, but you're going to have to be prepared that this could go either way. Either when you draw the line in the sand, he's either going to say, okay, I'm willing to go get help. I'm willing to do what we need to do. Go to family counseling, go to couples counseling, go to individual counseling, do whatever I need to do to pull this family back together again. Or it could go the opposite direction where he's like, peace out, see you later. And in my case, when I finally did get up my courage to draw that line in the sand, it was the peace out. But what I want to say is, this is where I feel like a lot of women live, is exactly where you were talking about before the commercial break. That you're in the, oh my gosh, I don't want my kids to have to go through a divorce. Oh my gosh, let me hang in here for the kids. Oh my gosh, what if maybe he turns around and changes? I mean, there's just all the what ifs. I stayed in an 18-year marriage for my kids because I did not want them to have to go through a divorce. What I have learned since is that was one of the most toxic reasons I could have stayed. Because it was making them accustomed to craziness. And the way their dad and I interacted, like I was teaching them that was okay. It's okay. My daughter was watching. It was okay for a man to talk to you that way. Really? Is that what we want our daughters to grow up? And I remember thinking to myself, if my daughter had a man that was treating her the way her dad was treating me, would I be okay with that? To the no. So why am I okay with it for me? And that was just a huge wake-up call for me. I don't know if you have anything to add to that.
Well, there's two things I'd like to add to that. The first thing is that years later, and we're talking about maybe 10 years ago, so we're talking 24 years after the divorce, my middle son didn't speak to me for 9 months. The reason why he didn't speak to me is I gave him a copy of the manuscript of the book, and he wasn't upset with me for what I thought he was going to be upset with me, because you know, your children, you protect them, and you've got to know that you hide things from them. You don't keep all your garbage out there for your kids. So when he read my book, he didn't talk to me for 9 months, and I thought he was mad about point A. He wasn't mad about point A. He was mad because as he read the book, there were so many opportunities for me to leave his father before it got to crisis mode. And I didn't. That's why he didn't talk to me for 9 months. You also, I'm going to coincide with what you said, partner with what you said about your daughter. So my daughter was 2 when I left, and she had 2 examples. She's 36 now. So I've been with my second husband 34 years, married 32. So she's had 2 examples of men in her life. My daughter went away to college. Her first boyfriend had tendencies like her dad. It was familiar. So he held her hostage in her dorm room for 4 hours and beat the devil out of her. And I was so sick. I was so sick. I couldn't go back and change anything. I couldn't fix it. But I had taught her to tolerate behavior. Even at 2 years old, I had taught her that. And grateful now that she has found a magnificent man, a wonderful husband, wonderful father to my grandchildren. I couldn't ask for a better man for her. But in that space, it was, let's just say when we have children, they don't come with manuals. We do the best we can with what we know. And when we know better, we do better. However, that being said, hindsight is always 20/20. And could I have left the marriage earlier? Yes, but I wouldn't have my 3 blessings. Do I regret my marriage? No. Because number 1, I learned a lot. Number 2, I have 3 beautiful children that my second husband didn't want any children, ever. So he raised mine, and that was great. And he's been a wonderful stepfather, but I would have never had children. And being a nurturer and a mom is a big thing for me. So I think that staying for the sake of the children, if your relationship is toxic, if it's unhealthy, If you're teaching your children to tolerate bad behavior, then no, you don't stay. If you, but let me just put a caveat to that, because I think this is really important. If you're staying, you say because of the sake of the children, but it's really because you're trying to get out of it because you're not happy in the marriage, then you need to examine, why are you not happy? Because when you come into a marriage, you are not supposed to expect your significant other to make you happy. You have to look to yourself to make yourself happy. You have to get healed. You have to be whole and get into this relationship as two complete beings walking side by side, not clinging to each other and dysfunctional and enabling each other to do bad behavior. So when you are complete and whole and you are partnering with someone, then that's the correct way to do it. But if you're looking to get out of a marriage because he just doesn't make me happy, then the next man is not going to make you happy either, because you're going to get to the same place after the lust, after the joy, after the roses wear off of the honeymoon. You're going to get to the same place in a relationship, hit the same wall, and you are going to say to yourself, I picked the same man because I'm still not happy. The truth is that you have got to become a whole person. Now, I had to do that with my faith in God and a journey through my relationship with the Lord. And because I'm a believer, and then I did that, and I'm able to be in a relationship happy and whole. I wasn't before. And that's what my book is about walking without God versus walking with God, and what a difference that makes. But the truth is that unless you are a whole person, getting out of a marriage because he just doesn't make me happy, but he's a good dad and he's a good provider and he isn't hitting you, he's not cheating on you, you're just not happy, I'm sorry, that's not okay.
No, I totally agree with that. And what I would follow up with that, and I know we're running out of time, sadly, is, so yes, even if you are in, let's say you're in a loveless marriage, he doesn't hit you, he provides, he's a good dad, but the love is just not there. If you're in a marriage like that, then what I would strongly urge you to do first and foremost is to start working on you and start figuring out what you need to start working on, healing yourself, because there's probably a whole lot of stuff going on, maybe from childhood, maybe from a previous marriage, maybe from whatever has happened in life. I have a coaching client right now that came to me ready to leave her husband. She was done. And I had asked her, what are you wanting? Like, what's your goals in coming for coaching? And she told me, she said, I'm done with my marriage. This is her fourth marriage. I'm done with my marriage. I need you to help me find a way out. Okay, let's work on that. And we started working on her. We started doing a lot of shadow work. We started doing a lot of inner child work. And we are 90, 120 days into this coaching. And she just told me this week that at this point, she no longer has a desire to leave her husband.
Exactly.
She said, I'm literally the happiest I've ever been in my life. And she said, I don't know that. She said, it seems like he's changed. And I said, no, you've changed.
Exactly.
You're seeing him differently because you're seeing him through different lenses. So I know we've got to close out this segment, but Kathy, we have so much about. Would you be willing to come back on and do part 2
Absolutely. Thank you for
of this
asking.
subject?
Yeah, thank you. Yes.
Because you have so much wisdom. I love just chatting with you, because this is our life, is you and I just having deep conversations like this. And I love just being real, being open, being transparent. You know that I don't script these chick chats, get it out right, because I just like to have open dialogue and see where it goes. So if you would be willing to come back and talk about this again, we will do exactly that. Let me ask you, where can people find you should they want to connect with you?
On Facebook, it's Kathy Sherwood Durant. And on Instagram, it's kdurant854@gmail.com. My email is kdurant854@gmail.com as well. So you can either reach me by email, you can reach me on Facebook through Messenger, or Instagram through message. And I'd be happy to talk to whoever wants to talk.
Awesome. And you can reach me, Marie Kennedy Groves, on Facebook, or you can reach me on Instagram at World Changer Forever. Or if you would like, if you're going through, maybe you're going through a divorce, or maybe, you're just trying to figure out where you're at in your relationship, and is this something that you're putting up with too much or not, or whatever. Maybe you need to work on healing yourself and you would like coaching through that. Please send me a message at mariegroves@healingwaters.info. And I would love to connect with you, with your, single mom, divorcee, looking at just issues in relationship, trying to figure out where you're at. Maybe you're just going through some challenging times and you just really need someone to help coach you through your thought process. Reach out and we would be happy to lock arms with you. So thank you so much for joining us today. And we will see you back next Monday, same channel, same station, 12 o'clock noon, to have another chick chat with you, part 2 with Kathy Durant. Kathy, thank you so much for joining us, and we will see you next time.
Thanks for having me.
Bye-bye. Have a great day.